Okay, team, I just wanted to provide some feedback here in terms of what I'm talking about in my text feedback. So I just want to illustrate fullbacks here. These two fullbacks, I want you to keep an eye on them. They are going to be kind of the problem number one of how the issues I'm having here, and I think a lot of players are having issues as well. So if we look at those two, top of your screen and bottom of your screen, fullbacks here supporting the play. Okay, well, here they're here for support. The play happen or whatever's happening just in the attack there. You can see the left fullback is there for support. The midfielder gets past the defending midfielder, and then now why is the fullback dropping back? So the moment's not even over, right? The moment of possession is not even over with, and he's already running backwards. So that's problem number one, right? So we see that's issue number one. He's already trying to go back. He's not wide enough or high enough to support. And so this just becomes a combination of what just doesn't look right. And it's not just about looks. Because of their poor positioning, they are now not available for transition. So if this ball is deflected or anything like that, these players here are so rigid. This look is so rigid, 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 2, that if this ball comes out here, right, the common sense, any coach would say, hey, you need to be up here with the referee, right? And I'll draw that here. You need to be over here. These two fullbacks need to be here in support. But instead, where they're at is right over here, paired up perfectly with the two center backs that aren't even crossing the halfway line. If you look at any modern football, anything on TV, the center backs are always past the halfway line. Why? Because it's modern now to build around pressure, to involve all players on the field. And so that's problem number one, because this happens for the fullback role significantly. And when there are more than even just one forward or even the two center midfielders, this becomes a problem because now they're outnumbered, but then they're also just not there for a transition play, right? And on top of that, the fullbacks are there to support, whether they're wingbacks, attacking wingbacks, no matter what, fullbacks are still there to support. Like, even if they're not at the same level of wingbacks, they should at least be, if you want a point of reference, they should be in line with the referee, right? Because as it stands right now, as we play the clip further, these guys need to go here. This guy needs to go here, right? Because if that, just in line, just even if they're here, or even if they can go wider, that's fine too. But basically, as they stand right now, it's just too rigid for formation of a look, because there won't be there for transition of the ball's played out or anything like that. Like, this can apply to all formations. Like, this behavior would apply to all formations to be used, and then all formations to go against. Whether you play against like a 5-2-3, a 5-3-2, like this formation, this diamond 5-3-2 that they're playing. At the end of the day, that's the correct positioning, regardless if you're attacking wingback, fullback, whatever it is. False fullback, of course, would be more narrow, but even then, like, it's not even tactical stuff. It's not tactical stuff. It's just common sense. On the football field, if you're playing pickup game, these two guys would not be over here. They would not be just marking two attackers along with their two center backs. Okay, so that highlights problem number one. Number two is a little bit more, is probably the worst, because this is where it's just more of an issue with just misunderstanding of how the attacking thirds work, or just the thirds in general of football. So if we look at the scale, and then let me just find the right, if we look at the scale of how a match works, or how a football field is divided, right? It's in thirds, right? Let me just see if I can find. And we go to a goalie, perhaps. Yeah. So if we look at how a football field works, and I'm not trying to say I know everything here. I am a football coach. I've coached for 5 years. I have my license. So all right. Here's your right relative to where the ball is. So actually, let's start over. So if we look at here, if the ball's over here, right, this is our defensive third, right? This is usually the build out. Over here further is our middle third, and then further up there is our attacking third, right? So defensive third, middle third, up to here, and then attacking third. Okay, not the best graphic, I know, but really just to illustrate what I mean. As it stands with FIFA or FC, what I see it right now as is this is the entire attacking third played out, and where the defensive third should be, where the middle third should be. FC thinks this entire pitch before it reaches at least past the halfway line is all attacking third. It's evident in the way the teams build up. It's evident in the emotions. It's evident in the way the players respond. And a good example is right here. If we look at the opposing center backs, if I can navigate through this, we look at it here. These center backs right here, in particular, let's draw over that. So 1 and 2 right there. We're gonna start to see them move. Once this attacker gets through, I'll return after we're done with this. But here's one of the biggest issues and one of the evidence of how we're primarily working in attacking thirds no matter where the ball is. This animation right here. This is, as a coach, these guys would be benched. This is completely unacceptable. Turning your back on the ball carrier, running into your own box. This is completely unacceptable. This is just basic stuff. And they're running for some reason following the attacker. Now, if this animation happens more up here, right, in transition, right, and if you were to literally copy and paste every player on the field and move them backwards, right, that wouldn't look like the worst thing ever even then. And that animation would make more sense there because they're running with the attacker, hoping they don't get caught over the top. But instead, what we have is this animation right here where they're a deep blind team and they're running with their backs turned to the ball carrier as if they're on the actual halfway line. But instead, which supports my approach, saying that we're essentially playing on entire attacking third and then a little bit of, we're playing on the entire attacking third and then we're playing pretty much the rest of the way into the goal mouth. And that's pretty much how the issue with this game. And you can see what this creates, of course, is a shot on goal. Because why? Everybody's backed off, right? And the space given up here is just unacceptable. And this happens with deep teams. This happens with any team. Anytime there's any kind of focus here. And this happened a long time ago back in FC 20 or FC 22, where it's usually relative to the sprint value. And the sprint value can control when the defensive players decide to run, which means it triggers them jogging or triggers them to start sprinting, because not all the players can sprint on 35 sprint speed. And this is even on 32 sprint speed with a higher acceleration to test. But this behavior is a killer. And this happens with most deep teams. This happens with some other teams. But regardless, if you listen to anything that I'm providing here, the biggest issue is just the rigid positioning, the rigid roles. I'm not saying to remove them. My solution is to simply reduce the tactical adherence or free up the positioning in certain areas, and particularly the fullbacks are a big one, the center backs as well, just attention to the ball. And that's really like as basic as I can put it, because the positioning on the field matters. And as it stands right now, the defensive not being there for support and transition makes such a massive gap. And I can provide more videos if you need more examples. But yeah, this is a big issue. For what it's worth, it's not my first time doing this. I've been trying to work on sliders, etc., since I was in my late teens, and now I'm 40. I actually work as a software tester. I'm a quality assurance specialist. I've been doing that for 3+ years now, and that's found from testing sliders and testing your games, and just making the game base. Sometimes it's fixing the game base, or trying to fix things, can never 100% fix things, or having an attempt to fix things, or simply, just trying to improve the base. There's not many games out there that have really needed such an improvement right away. This is a big one here. I still think if you guys go back and watch videos of FC24, you see a lot more freedom, and that was before all these rigid roles were created. So if you look at a point of isolation, if you do any regression testing, that's where it should be a big factor. Again, essentially what I'm doing here is chaos testing. I understand that, but in anything to become functional, it needs to find a triggering value, right? And the more information you can provide, the better. And then we can start creating some functional testing here. But as it stands right now, this is a big issue with the game. The positioning of the defensive line, the defensive players, their attitude towards the ball, their attitude towards supporting, and the roles simply just compound that issue. My suggestion is to go back to the basics, go back to actual pickup football, pickup soccer, and see how natural players just want to support wherever. And then in advanced positions or advanced suggestions, then the roles can kick in. But the first thing is the ball, the player, the field. That's it. Go back to that. Make the other tactical adjustments afterwards. That's how we should have it as a community, as a game. If you're truly listening and you really want to hear the approach here to authentic gameplay, to more realistic, and you actually have the power to make some changes, I highly suggest this be the start, this be the base, and then we can continue from there. If you want to reach out to me, my Twitter is Matt10L. Best way to reach out to me. And I'm happy to help, happy to provide my own. We have a great community at Operation Sports that are also full on Evo Web as well, with Chris Davies and co. And we've got incredible PC modders who know the inside outs of the everything from the code, etc. Thanks to Anth James as well, and everybody there, Topaz as well. So please consider using your community for this kind of feedback. I hope this video helps, and I hope it reaches you, and that's it. Let's hope we can have a good game this year.